Hello and welcome to another edition of H. Paul Models. Done enough planes, done enough vehicles. This is a model I started a while ago and I never got round to, lost interest, moved house, whatever. It's the HMS Belfast. So yes, I'm going to have a go at this. Never built a shop before, never built a ship before. So yeah, should be fun. I hope. Yeah, this is the backdrop to it. No. Yeah, the painting scheme. Yeah, we'll keep that. That could be interesting. Got the distractions. I can trace back to where I got to with these. You can see I already started on the hull. That's as far as I got. So yeah, I'll carry on with the turrets and whatnot and see where it takes me, really. Just fitting the last piece to the prop shafts now. Oh, it's been a fidgety job, I'm going to say. A lot of fettling. Oh, cripes. But it's been quite an experience as well, actually, quite a good one. Yeah, it's been one of those jobs where everything you touch seems to want to move its own direction and not actually fall into place properly, like that there. You see the gap there where that's supposed to, I just couldn't get it to roll into place. It was so annoying. Right, next piece is just to be a bit of the cabins or decks or something. I'm not a shit man. So I've looked at putting this bit together and I'm going to have to do it bit by bit, I think. So I'm going to do this piece first, together like that, and use Tamiya again, because I don't think... Oh, Revel might do it. Let's give it a bit of Revel. I've got a bit of a plan. Make sure I've got the glue coming out. That's it. A bit in there. A bit along there. Take this and sit that in there. Oh, crikey. Oh. There we go. I think. Yeah, that's got it. Oh, that is ever so fiddly. Right, hold that together for a while and then we'll do the other side. Okay, it seems to be that this bit I've just done wants to go on there, so let's have a look, see how that dry fits first. Oh, it sits on it by the looks of it, like that. Okay, so we want a bead around there, just around there. See, I'm quite the aircraft enthusiast, but when it comes to ships, I just about know which is aft and which is starboard, and which is port and which is... I don't know anything. Some of the parts here that are numbered, the mould hasn't taken and the numbers are missing. So I'm going through the instructions and looking at parts, like for instance, if I can get this in the camera, that bit there and that bit there, just trying to find something that resembles it. And then yep, that looks like it, so I'll stick that in there and hope for the best. Anyway, this is fun because it's like a, I don't know, it's like a jigsaw, I suppose. There's no real clue as to what goes where, so I'm just going to tidy these. Yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. So 49 on a picture showing us 2 doorways and 3 windows, and that has got that I think. So yeah, but just look at the, I think that's part 50 because of the way the doors are lower down. Anyway, let's get them stuck on. I've already fitted 2 of these, so I'm going to fit the other 2. Again, it's been a case of guesstimation as to what part it is, but this is brilliant. I'm loving it. It is like a jigsaw. Oh yeah. I actually really recommend this model because it's been a nice break from aeroplanes and things like that, and yeah, I wouldn't say it's from the amateur model who might buy this at a museum or actually at the Belfast, but if you want a challenge, I think this is probably the best to go for, because I'm only scratching the surface and already I'm finding things that are testing me, and that's nice to be tested, definitely. So yeah, let's crack on. Well, the base coat is done. Some places it's a bit patchy, I don't quite know what happened there, but I think I may have had the paint too thin, but we can touch that up, that's not too bad. So what I'm going to do now is use Humbrol 29 to do the wooden decks. Now the destruction says cream, it just doesn't look right to me. So yeah, using a little bit of Humbrol 29 from a starter pot, I'm going to start painting in the wooden decks. So I'm going to get on with that like this, just gently put it on, and then I will show you why I think it was better to do it with 29 and not what the instruction says. So the first pass with the brush painting, but yeah, I think the 29 looks more convincing as a wood. The RAF blue on top, I'm going to touch up the anchor chains and with a bit of steel to give them a bit of realism, and then I shall start doing the sides, tidying them up. Started painting the whole camouflage. It's going to need another coat because what I'm doing is I'm watering down the starter pot paints that I have and applying them very slowly. So yeah, it's going to need 2 or 3 coats, but it's coming along. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that, especially happy with the anchor chains that I painted. I'm going to put a little bit of rust on them somewhere, not too much, just thin down some rust coloured paint and dry brush them over. Yeah, so far it's looking quite good. So I'm just adding some deck components. So I've added the 2, I'm assuming they're anti-aircraft guns. So this is now their shieldy piece, if I can call it that, I don't know. Tiniest amount there and there. And very carefully drop that into there. Ooh, like that. There we go. And that's on. So I'm fixing what appears to be the gangplank. I think that's what they call it anyway. So I'll stick that in there. The instructions say 65, but paint. If I paint it 65, it sticks out like a sore thumb and doesn't go with the whole camouflage scheme. So I'm just going to stick it in there like that, and I'll paint that 64 instead when it's dried and whatnot. And I'll put a little bit of silver down that staircase. It's very detailed, it is there. Yeah, lovely. Next piece appears to be these little very cute lifeboats with a wooden deck. I've added the 29. So according to the instructions, that should slot into there like that. Ooh. Let's drop that into there. Oh cripes. There we go, that's in. Now I haven't fitted the top sections to these yet because there's a roof to go on that, and I don't know if it will fit, so I'm going to just leave them blank for the moment. There we go, there's those on. Make sure they're nice and level. Yeah, the instructions say all 64, but I wanted to bring a bit of colour to them, so I added 29 as well, just for a bit of interest more than anything else. So I'll do the other side. Little red lifeboats. They're beautiful. I don't. They're supposed to go right under the deck. I don't like that. So I'm going to do my own thing with these and have them slightly hanging out. Otherwise, we're going to lose that detail, and I don't like it. So just a little bit of glue on there, a little bit along the deck. And I'm going to pick it up. And then stick that so it's hanging off its crane bits there, like that. Otherwise, just a lovely bit of detail that's been lost, and I don't want to do that. Oh yeah, I think that looks really, really good. Just hanging out there, like that. And I'll do the other side now. Watching YouTube channels and whatnot, I've seen a few fellow YouTubers do warships with cannons going off or main guns firing, so I thought, oh, that'd be nice, I'll give it a go myself. So I've got 3 at the moment LEDs that I've picked. The first 2 guns I'm going to mount have got their holes drilled ready for the cable loom, so this sort of shape on the LED legs, lining up the holes that I pre-drill before assembling the gun or guns, and then sliding it home, hopefully, in you go, up to there. If I form them right, it should, the main section LED that gives light, which is there, will be ignited just forward of the middle gun. Now here's the bit I thought about as well. With paintbrushes, oh, if I can get it off, you get these little plastic tubey things. So if I can ever so gently slide that over there, like that, that keeps the guns and the lights aligned. All I'm going to do is just trim that around about here with a scalpel. And that should, once cotton wool's been embedded, look reasonably okay, I thought. So yeah, I'm going to crack on with the 3 turrets I've got and see how it looks. Guns mounted, LEDs fixed in place, pulled the cables down through the bottom of the ship. That will then go for the bottom base of the diorama out to switches and batteries and whatnot. So this gun next, and then I'll do the upper decks. As I build it, I'll thread more leads and more wires and whatnot as I go. More parts assembly. The guns are all done and wired. I should do a test later, but I just want the glue on the turrets to go off first. So in order to get this bit done, I'm going to do it like I did the other sections of the lower decks, I suppose I could call them. Just place that in there and let that go off. Oh cripes, he says as he throws it across the shade. Oh dear. In you go, come on. Oh. Too much glue, but ho hum, don't want it coming apart. So offer that up. And it should, we hope, join there somehow. I think. Let's get this front bit done first. Oops. Oh, gold. said, it's just an old mould. I think a lot of bits are warped and don't want to fit properly. I mean, you see on my channel, I've built Lancasters and aircraft much more complicated than this, and I'm having no end of trouble with this. But we mustn't moan, because at least I've got this to do, which is good. Oh, there's the problem, look. Is that little stud there is colliding with that where it didn't on that side. So I'll just oink that off when this section's dried, and you just reapply the glue. Anyway, I'll carry on and I'll show you the result. Okay, the next section I've just finished. I'm putting all component parts together. It's been a bit of a fettle. There's been a lot of flash, a lot of warped parts. It's all good, it's all part of modelling, so I've just worked at it for a couple of hours. And yeah, when the glue's all gone off, I shall assemble it all, then give it a base coat of RAF blue, which is essentially what these top decks are, and then paint the details in with a brush afterwards. What I've found with this model and what I'm learning is assemble, paint, and then fix to the model. It's not like an aeroplane where you can get away with it. You've got to do it very slowly and piece by piece. So yeah, it's been a steep learning curve, but I am really quite enjoying this. It's very detailed work, which I don't usually do, I must admit. So yeah, brilliant. That's all the components assembled. So now I'm going to give that a going over with RAF blue, and then with a small detail brush just pick out all the details like the bridge bits and pieces and whatnot. A bit of silver here, a bit of black there. Paint's drying on the bits I've just done. I've found the cutest little plane. I'm so pleased, this is brilliant. It's superb. So I'll put that together and then give it a bit of dark sea grey, put it on the ship. I've also got a version that's folded up. I did that earlier, I didn't really realise what it was, but yeah, now it's just, I'm chuffed. Fits in the first plane into position. I'm sticking in now. Now I've got to put this deck on. And I do believe it goes there according to instructions. So if I can just get it to dry fit first, don't get too carried away with it. Yep, I think that might go with a bit of a fettle. It needs a bit of a squeeze in there. Yeah. And apply the old glue. Let that get in there like that. Oh. Trying to avoid fingerprints. There we go, it's in. Crikey. Knocking the plane about. There we go. I need to touch up the paintwork around the edges here, but that's a short bit of brushwork, there's nothing to worry about. Right, whilst that's drying or curing, I'll do the gun for that deck position. sure the guns are all aligned and pointing reasonably the same direction. That'll just look awkward if they're not. And then whilst that's curing, my next LED, and form the legs like I did the last two. There we go, it's done. I'll let that go off and then I can solder it and mount it to the forward deck there. Cool, what a fettle. So the bridge is on, I think it's the bridge, front gun's on, wires are all through, excellent. Fireworks going 10 to the dozen outside, absolutely brilliant, unless you're a pet owner. So now I'm going to go indoors and sit with the cat. I'm delighted to say, and yes that is delighted to say, I've got to the first parts, I've got to use filler. And the reason why I'm delighted to say that is because this model has had loads of flash, ill-fitting parts that have had to be warped and warmed up and so on and so forth. This is the first part when I've done all of that I've had to use filler on. That to me is a recommendation in itself, to be honest. Yes, I've had to warm things up with a heat gun and bend them back into shape and all that sort of thing, but they fitted afterwards. It's not really much of a problem. This is the first bit of filler I've had to use. So as far as I'm concerned, that's bloody good going. Especially for a mould this old. Is that a little rhyme? Anyway, a mould this old, that's fantastic, I think. Anyway, that's really, really good. So, yeah, fair play to them. This must have been a very good build when it was first released, because it's this is the only filling job I've got to do on a model that was, I'll look at the date of the box in a minute, on a model that was first moulded back in whenever. That is really, really good. So yeah, I'll carry on filling this. I'll find out what the date is and I'll let you know how I get on. Well, the filling's done and I've looked at the date and I'm shocked. It's 1973. This model is 2 years younger than me. Unbelievable. All these little small parts just need a little bit of fettling and they fit. Amazing, absolutely amazing, very, very good. Update, I've got the fourth and last gun mounted, all the superstructures on. I've mounted all the little boats on top, which I think are really, really good. Yeah, I'm going to give it a coat of varnish to lock all that paintwork and all that model stuff in, and then I shall carry on with the funnels and the little anti-aircraft guns and whatnot to finish it off. It's just minor details now in the cranes after building them, and what an absolute delight they are. They really are rather good. I'm really impressed with these. They just, yeah, they look like what they're supposed to be. Brilliant. Bit of super glue on the top of this little cup. Cocktail stick, and just put some on there. Get my 5-amp fuse wire and lay that in there. And bend that round. Let that go off. Run that round there like that. Oops. Super glue. And dab it in place on there. So we can just give that a cut there. And tweezers and just sit that down onto the glue. think I've done it. One strung crane. Fitting these lifeboats is well, I would say probably the same as I don't know, some sort of surgery, because yeah, thank God for Tamiya extra thin. Hopefully that will stay. There we go. That one's on. Crikey. Next one. As I said, this is brilliant. This is really testing my my skills, and it's just so I don't know what the word is. Therapeutic, relaxing. It's just yeah, it's really. It's also quite rewarding as well when the boats go on and they stay where they're put. So yeah, these are the horizontal ones. I can just move them around like that. There we go. So they sit on the side of the ship like that. So I'm going to carry on doing the rest, and then when they're done, we'll concentrate on the gun mounts. Cranes are on the ship, and one thing I've just realised, I haven't painted the hull. It is been, I just realised what I'm doing. I'm building the ship up, but then realised I hadn't done anything with the hull. I've got to do a black stripe in the middle and then red along the bottom. So it's been a bit of a steep learning curve, this one, I must admit. But using a flat brush, which I'm going to dampen in water first, I'm going to paint this striping. Now, I'm not using an airbrush because I just don't trust myself. So I'm just going to paint that on ever so gently. I might do 2 or 3 coats just to get it on. And I'm using the Rebel paint because it's a better black than the Humbrol 33. And I'm a Humbrol fan and everything else, but I like this black. It's better in my opinion anyway. So yeah, I'm just going to paint this stripe around here. The reason why I'm not using an airbrush is because I am terrified of overspray. I've done all this work and the last thing I need now is black paint all over my model. So it's things like this that I'm not very good at. Sorry, I've got the brush in my mouth at the moment, but that tape hasn't gone round evenly. There we go. But it's things like that. I do know my own skill limits. So I'm just going to take it round there. There we go, paint that black on, and then I shall varnish, remask, and then do the red. So yeah, that's where I've got to before I do any anti-aircraft guns or anything else that I can snap off the deck of this ship. I figured I'd better do that. Ah, silly old fool. Happy to report the black stripe is done. No, well, not too much damage. I've got a few bits to touch up. Nothing that's going to really sort of like, oh no. And then when that's settled, I will paint all the bottom red. Probably with a brush because I find that very therapeutic, so I'll probably do half and half. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying painting by brush. So yeah, that'll be my next step, and then I'll just fit all the funnels and anti-aircraft guns and whatnot to finish. Currently working on the deck guns, and the barrels are just awful. I mean, there's nothing I can do with them. They're just so covered in flash. It's the first thing I've come across that's but just not good. So I'm going to do something else for those. I've been thinking, although it's not absolutely accurate, I have this 30 amp fuse wire. Now I'm thinking a little bit of fettling. I may be able to, if I can find my pliers and cutters. I'll straighten that out as best as possible. like that. So it's reasonably straight. It's not brilliant, but it's reasonably straight. I can find my wire cutters. I'll rummage around. They must be here somewhere. There they are. If I get the aforementioned parts, gauge the length, and then cut them there. I think that makes an adequate barrel. Now, I know it's not perfect, and with my fat fingers, probably not brilliant. But what I'm thinking is I can substitute and maybe just put one in each part like that. Taking the gun turret, drilled a hole through it, bought the 30 amp fuse wire, or known as a gun barrel, through there. And you get some super glue on the cocktail stick and see if I can't just set that in place with a bit of glue on there. And let that go off and cure. And then we'll do the next one, next one, next one, and then we'll have a set of guns, I hope. So whilst those deck guns are drying, I'm going to continue painting the hole. And yes, I'm going to use one of my starter pots from my collection, as I have quite a few from different kits and whatnot, and I figured why not. So yeah, I've thinned it down a bit, might take a few coats, but I'm just going to paint that in there like that. And yeah, just really enjoy the experience of using a brush rather than using the airbrush. Oops, over the line there a bit, but when it's covered in resin, who's going to see it? There we go, just work it in against the line that I did previously, and then get a slightly larger flat brush and do the rest of the hole. The first coat done on one side, it's going to need two because of the dark camouflage overrun down there, but yeah, very easy to do with a flat brush. I'm sort of missing brush painting because airbrushes are very, very good, don't get me wrong, you can get a lot of detail come through and everything else, but it's just some pleasure in using a brush. Anyway, cracking on. Some of these masks, they're well, covered in flash and don't look particularly brilliant, so with a little bit of soldering iron skills, I have replicated them as best I can, so I'm going to stick them to the model instead. I think that looks okay. Might need a little bit of tidying up, but generally, yeah, I'll try that one next. So we have this mast here that's covered in flash, and I think I may have replicated that quite well. It's a shame I can't get rid of the excess solder, but I think a little bit of touch of grey 67, that might just blend in alright. That one I might be able to save, and that one I can save, and the rest of the masks look okay, but I just wanted to see if I could do it really. And yeah, I'm going to put that on the model. Quite pleased with it actually. Trying to align this mast, and it turns out the supporting beams, one's a millimetre shorter than the other. So that's not annoying. I really should stop laughing. I had it nearly there then. Just if I can just ease it in. I'm hoping you can see what I'm trying to do on the camera. Because it's a little bit short, I'm just trying to ease that. Got it. It's there. I'll just hold that there for a second. and just hold it, and the glue takes it. Hopefully that will stick. It's a little bit wonky. It is not as easy as I thought it was going to be, but it is getting there. I think that's about as straight as I'm going to get it. Yep. The one I made from fuse wires already in there, and that was just push straight in and it's done. It's in there. Brilliant. Yeah, I'm kind of wishing I did the rest of the mast now, but yeah, it's there. I'll let that go off. Then I'll do the others. So it's slowly getting there. Very pleased so far. I can just have it up on its, so it's square. Something a bit heavier. How about a battery pack? That'll hold it up, I'm sure. If I do that with it, oh, I just want it to go off straight and level, because it is quite a feature of the ship. So yeah, let that cure, and then I'll do the next mast, and then there's just the chimneys, or the I don't know what they're called in the ship, the funnels, them to go. Fitting the last mast, my other homemade mast, just dipping the end in super glue, give it as much super glue as possible, and then I'm going to put it in a hole that I've had to re-drill. There we go, square it up as best I can. Quite proud of that. It's a bit untidy, it hasn't got quite good as its plastic neighbours, but you know what, I made that and that's all that matters. So yeah, let the glue go off, and then I'll just do the two funnels, which is next on the list, because they've been painted now. Final bit of the puzzle that has been the HMS Belfast, the funnels. Squeeze that one on there. I'm going to have to cut that one, I think, because the angle of the funnel, that bit isn't going to fit, which is a bit of pain. But yeah, I think that may be flash on there, so I'm just going to cut that about there, hope for the best. I'm going to touch that up in a minute. Let's dry fit it and see what it looks like. No, I think that needs a bit more trimming. Oh, poo. The funnels are both on. There's one last little thing that I want to do that I may regret. I think it's going to be alright. I think it will be alright. It won't look odd. I'm hoping it won't look odd anyway. So I will get my little plastic tough thing. Get some super glue. A cocktail stick. And the elastic thread. Now what I'm going to do, or try to do, this could be a bit of a disaster, but it's one of those things that I think will finish off the model, so I'm going to try and do it. I'm going to try and do some rigging. Now, didn't go too well to tie them off, but that doesn't mean it won't go well now. Let's do this bit next. Super glue. there we go. My version of the HMS Belfast. You have to excuse the bird's nest, but yeah, I'm actually very pleased with this since it's my first ship. Needs a varnish. I've got to put the props on, and then I shall stick it in the diorama, which I'll be doing on the next episode. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed building the ship. It's my first ever ship, and well, it's been a bit of a learning curve. So yeah, see you next episode. Cheers.